Hello! And this weekend I find myself heading towards several markets around Greater Melbourne. I'm looking to head towards some of the bigger markets this time around as opposed to any of the smaller ones, and I'll probably stop by some thrift stores along the way. In particular, I'm going to go to the Prahran Market, which has been in operation for over 160 years. I'm also going to head to Fitzroy, as there's the Fitzroy Market. And while I'm there, I'm going to go to the Fitzroy Makers Market, which I'm very much looking forward to. After that, I haven't been to the Queen Victoria Market, which is a Melbourne institution, in years, since I was a kid. So I'll be headed there as well for a quick look around. No doubt I'll stop along some other places along the way, so let's get to it. I took a slight detour to drop by the Brighton Soul Market. It's a little bit of a mix of different things here, but there overwhelmingly is some great street food. Being here nice and early, no crowds as of yet, come and join me.
The Brighton Soul Market is a relatively new addition to Melbourne's market scene, first established in December of 2019, but it's already built a strong reputation. It started as a way to showcase small businesses, independent makers, sustainable brands, and had a focus on ethical, handmade, and locally sourced goods. Kind of like a farmer's market or secondhand fair, but more about creativity, wellness, and community. There are a mix of stalls here, from artisanal goods, handmade jewellery, skincare, boutique fashion, and there's a strong focus on stalls selling eco-friendly product. No market is complete without great food, and the Brighton Soul Market definitely delivers on that too. Their stalls offering everything from freshly baked treats, local coffee, some vegetarian plant-based snacks. There is a great mix of small batch, high quality food options that fit right in with this market's relaxed, semi-boutique vibe. I, for one, saw someone selling handmade momo dumplings on the way in, and I have a massive weakness for dumplings as a whole. There is nothing that could have kept me from that, but I still did my due diligence and let myself wander around for a little while before going straight back there and getting some chicken momo.
The momo I just had was fantastic. Had a quick chat to the operator, and he said that he makes everything by hand. He makes the sauce himself, which is also awesome because I could ask the dreaded question of, does this contain seafood? Which it didn't.
The next day.
And now I find myself in beautiful Prahran. I don't know quite what I was expecting here. The amount of green spaces around is just fantastic, like where I find myself right now. I'm just going to get myself a coffee because my brain is yet to enable itself for today. Having a quick look around on Google, it's shown me that the place to go is Penance Coffee, which is rated 4.9 out of 5 out of 72 reviews, which is honestly quite incredible. So I'm going to sit down, relax, enjoy this coffee, and then consider getting on with it. This is one of the best coffees I have had in a very, very long time. All jokes aside about Melbourne and Melbourne suburbs and how there is an overabundance of coffee shops, it is true, to my mind, having travelled quite a bit, that Melbourne does coffee like nowhere else. And also, something that was incredibly surprising, in spite of the quality, in spite of the ratings, in spite of the fact the store looks brilliant, it was cheap. It was $5 for a large. I've seen much higher than that, even nearby, even locally. So if you're in Prahran and you're wanting a coffee, definitely come and check out Penance. Penance is fantastic. Can't recommend it enough.
It was a short walk around the corner to the Prahran Market. Prahran Market is one of Melbourne's most iconic markets, and it actually holds the title of being the city's oldest food market. It's been around since 1864, which means it's over 160 years old, and it's been the go-to place for fresh produce, gourmet ingredients and specialty foods for an immense length of time. It started as a simple trading spot for fresh fruit and vegetables, and it's now a hub for food lovers, chefs, and anyone looking for top quality ingredients. I will note though, you do pay top quality prices. The market itself has moved several times over the years, but it's always stayed right here in Prahran. The building you see today was constructed in the 1890s, and it's been updated over time to keep pace with a changing city while still holding on to somewhat of a heritage feel. I couldn't help myself but wander through the candy stores. I'm always a sucker for anything shiny. ADHD anyone? And, of course, where there were shiny things, I was delighted to find Free samples. It took a lot of willpower after taking one of these not to go back and either A, take more, or B, buy myself an entire bag. I'm quite proud of myself, and I would be happy if you were proud of me too, please and thank you. Something that the chocolate does draw attention to though is the focus on artisanal and gourmet products. There are delis selling imported cheeses, bakeries with handmade pastries, there are spice merchants, there's ingredients from all over the world. If you're a foodie, this place is a must visit. And now I'm ducking outside to check out the Sacred Heart Mission op shop. This is one of several op shops run by the Sacred Heart Mission, a charity that supports people experiencing homelessness or are otherwise disadvantaged. Shopping here isn't just about finding a bargain, it's about supporting a great cause. And also this piano, which was incredible. The store itself is well organised, and it's always nice to see that in an op shop, but it's also stacked to the ceiling with stuff. There's things everywhere, and I really enjoyed the selection of books.
Oh, biscuits.
Even though it is not the biggest thrift store, there is a solid mix of clothing, accessories, homewares, and there's a almost quirky, unpredictable feel to the space, which I definitely dig. Once again though, none of the art matches what I'm looking for. This bureau is gorgeous, and I was very disappointed to see that it was sold. This lamp had one of the worst textures I've ever touched in my life.
Brother,
What was not on the other hand, was this cabinet. The wood was solid, it was lovely and smooth, and I really liked the glassware too. It's always nice to go through the glass cabinets at thrift stores. In saying that, I didn't see too much in here that was of interest to me. I've noticed an increase in Egyptian themed stuff lately. I did buy this hippo as a gift for a family member though. I also spotted these on the way out, which is a lot of punk aesthetic for only $8. Prahran really surprised me. It has such a great mix of energy, and it feels like, to me at least, there's always something to check out. I only scratched the surface today, but I'm going to have to come back and do a part 2 where I tour around some cafes and maybe some other vintage stores. A 40-minute car ride later, and I was in Fitzroy, heading to the Fitzroy Mill Market, and it was flat out. The Fitzroy Mill Market is one of Melbourne's well-known vintage and second-hand markets. It's housed in an old industrial building, which certainly adds to the unique atmosphere, and it doesn't have necessarily the long history of some of Melbourne's traditional markets, but it has built a strong reputation as a spot to go for high quality vintage fashion, antiques, and retro collectibles. It's definitely more of a curated feel than the flea market vibe that they're sort of advertising it as. You're certainly not digging through piles of random items. Everything here has been carefully selected by the sellers, and it shows in the crowds that are here. It is absolutely packed. Walking inside, the first thing you'll notice is the focus on vintage fashion. The place is packed with designer pieces, rare finds, and classic retro styles. If you want pieces from the 80s, 90s, and early Aughties, this is certainly the place to be. But unlike an op shop, these are priced for their value. You will not find, in general, $5 bargains here. The cheapest I saw for clothing was around the $20 mark. Beyond fashion, there are other cool stores. There are some homewares, jewelry, quirky decor. You can absolutely lose a couple of hours just going through the different stalls, especially if you love retro aesthetics and well-preserved vintage pieces. I will be honest, it isn't cheap. These are premium vintage items and the prices do reflect that. You're paying for quality, rarity and curation rather than just random secondhand goods. That said, the market is hugely popular and people certainly don't seem to mind spending a bit more for something unique. Maybe you're after a statement fashion piece or some kind of cool retro collectible. This is one of Melbourne's best spots to find something special. Even if you're here just to browse, it is certainly an experience.
And that was the Fitzroy Market. A fantastic, fairly small market in the grand scheme of things. Mostly clothes, jewellery, not much for the foodie in me. But that's probably okay, my stomach doesn't need the extra help. Now I'm just gonna have a little bit of a poke around the area and see what kind of thrift store-y kind of stuff is here. See if I can't discover something. I'm sure I've been here before, I just can't quite place it or remember.
Less than a minute walk away, I found the uniting op shop, which in spite of being on effectively a main road, felt really tucked away. This store is so beautifully laid out and colour-coded, the staff have done an incredible job. I'm always on the lookout for copies of Frank Herbert's Dune. This isn't quite it.
Listen to me. The spice must flow.
The prices here were equally fantastic. This Jeff Banks shirt would retail for $110 and was a mere $9. A rule of thumb I like to use to determine if a place is good value or not is to find the jacket section. Look for something that you know the value of and then check the prices. If it's reasonably priced, you're probably onto a place that is pretty good value. A Kathmandu jacket retails from $100 to $280 depending on what it is. $16 is incredible. I just loved how organized and clean this space was. I thought this was a cow, but it has the face of a dog, so I left it there. I thought these were pretty cute. I was also stoked to see a selection of bathrobes, but that wouldn't have fit my 6'3" ass. Once again, not the right art, but I can't lie, I was very tempted. He is me, I am him. I did go back and get this though. It sends the right message in these troubled times. If you're in Fitzroy and you want a bargain, you should definitely come to the Uniting Op Shop. Also, sorry, but there is a small market-based rant incoming.
And that basically is my problem with a lot of market stalls. You can't, on one hand, offer a shirt that's $40 and then turn around and find this pretty much the same thing in an op shop not 50 meters away for $2.50. Feels bad, you know?
What was not disappointing, however, was the Rose Street Makers Market, which has been in operation for around 20 years. There was a fantastic selection of stalls here, ranging from things that were more or less purchased online and repackaged, through to the items that are 100% made by the people who are running the stalls. And that is what I was actually there for. This candle store smelled incredible. I really enjoyed the amount of pottery that was on display as well as printed art. Look at this guy. Hell yeah. The booty. I do like candles and I do like being rude, so maybe I do need to add some rude candles to my home. I don't think I've actually ever seen flocking like this, but it gave me that same strange feeling as what taxidermy tends to. I'm definitely coming back here for some of these postcards though for people's birthdays and special events. Oh heck yes. One thing I really noticed was how relaxed and community driven the whole market felt. A lot of the vendors were definitely the actual artists and designers, and you could just talk to them about their process and the materials, and I heard multiple people commissioning custom pieces that made shopping feel like it was a more personal experience, and it definitely wasn't the case of just grabbing something off a shelf. It's definitely the kind of space where I would like to have a market stall someday. My final stop for the day was the Queen Victoria Market, or the Queen Vic, which is one of Melbourne's most iconic landmarks. It had been years since I last visited, so I was excited to see how things had changed or if they'd more or less stayed the same. It spans over 7 hectares, and makes it the largest open-air market in the Southern Hemisphere. It's been a huge part of Melbourne life, and it's been active for well and truly over a century, being first established in 1878. And it's known for fresh produce, specialty foods, clothing and souvenirs. There's a lot here for everyone. The Queen Vic Market, as I said, opened in 1878, which makes it over 145 years old. It was originally built on land that was used as a cemetery. And yes, there are still thousands of bodies buried beneath the market today. Despite these eerie beginnings, the market quickly became a hub for Melbourne's growing immigrant population, with traders from all over the world setting up stalls to sell fresh food and goods. Over the decades, it survived wars, economic downturns, and even demolition threats, but through it all, it's remained a crucial part of the city's culture. Today, it's actually recognised as a UNESCO Heritage listed site, which preserves its legacy as one of Australia's most historic trading hubs. The Queen Vic is known for having a huge variety of clothing, souvenirs and handcrafted goods, and you can find everything from Australian-made leather and wool products to budget t-shirts, jewellery and accessories. And when I say budget, it's easy to look at the prices here and fall into the trap of thinking, oh, that's actually fairly pricey. Having cross-referenced a lot of the prices out in the market, it's actually completely reasonable. There are some stalls that sell vintage and second-hand items as well, so it can be a fun spot to hunt for bargains. But whilst there are some bargains, prices may vary depending on whether you're in the more tourist-heavy sections or you're in some of the more tucked-away corners of the market.
Oh my.
I like the art stalls, and this pop-up paper product place proved perfectly pulchritudinous. I definitely liked it, and I'm going to come back here when I have a little bit more money to get some of them. Also, I know this is all mass-produced, but it looks awesome. It might upset some of the Dutch audience, but I did not stop for any of these pancakes.
Get it, buddy. Yeah, get it, buddy.
This is the section that actually drew me back to the Queen Vic, finding out that there was a specific book section. Wandering through, there was so much to take in from both fiction and non-fiction. There were a heap of stalls that I was personally very interested in. My grandparents had a hallway that was more or less a library, and in that library, as a child, I remember being blown away by all these odd books on different topics, all mixed in amongst one another. It felt like sneaking through a wizard's tower looking for tomes, when in reality it was mostly books on the history of World War II, and books on sciences that when they came out were probably already way out of date. I remember this one in particular talking about how amazing asbestos was and how we should use it for more things in day-to-day life. Yeah, that didn't age very well. It goes without saying then, with its heritage status, with its long-running nature, if you're in Melbourne as a tourist, definitely come to the Queen Victoria Market. I guarantee there will be something here for you.
I also had to record this after the fact because I've discovered that my outro had gone weird, had been corrupted. So, it has been a lovely weekend. It's been a great time. I was really happy with getting out, exploring more of Melbourne, seeing more of what there is to see, and getting more familiar with the space that I'm now in. Next week, I've been told that Bendigo has 19 thrift stores in one kind of general location. So I'll be headed there. Come along, join me for that. I'm sure I'll be able to find at least something. I'll see you for that. Goodbye. And hey, we're nearly at 800.
We actually hit 800 when this video was being edited. Thank you. I'm just glad people are enjoying this content.
Subscribers, which is, you know, for what is a little hobby of mine, incredible. So thanks so much.